October 28th, 2022. Law enforcement came out with breaking news that there has been a major development in the Delphi murder case of Abby Williams and Libby German. There will be a press conference this Monday, October 31st, 2022, at roughly 10 a.m. While no official announcement of what that means, news stations and news sites stated that, according to police sources, a 50-year-old man has been arrested in connection with the crime. According to them, his name is Richard Allen. So, if that's true, which I believe it is, because if it's not, it's definitely the biggest news blunder, at least in the past couple of years. So I'm going to safely assume that it's true. So what does this mean? He was arrested in connection to the crime. Does that mean he's the sole perpetrator or the main one? I don't know. We know that last year things started to heat up when we heard law enforcement come out about a social media catfish account called Anthony Shots and how it may be connected to the Delphi murder case. Is Richard Allen connected to that Anthony Shots catfish account in any way? I don't know. Is Richard Allen connected to Kagan Klein in any way, who was, as we know, was connected to that social media account? I have no idea. It's reasonable to question, but I don't want to speculate and say it has to be. Too much of a coincidence. We do know that over the summer, law enforcement had a month-long search in the Wabash River, I hope I'm saying that right, close to Kagan's former residence in Peru. The Murder Sheet podcast stated that it was in connection to the Delphi murder case. Now, is that true? I don't know. Maybe. It's possible, although I don't know, that law enforcement was looking into multiple leads at the same time. So while we're hearing about Kagan Klein cooperating with law enforcement, according to the murder sheet, law enforcement did not confirm or deny that at that time. It could just be coincidence that one lead was happening as another, and one actually developed something fruitful. I guess we'll find out this Monday. I figured, at least in part, what Richard Allen's, what he's in connection to exactly. You see, that's the thing about me, is that I'm not a web sleuth. I'm not an armchair detective. I'm not here to put house money down on anything because I'm not qualified to do that. And quite frankly, a lot of the people in the true crime community, you are not either. You might think you are. You might be able to point to exceptions to the rule, but see, that's the problem. It's an exception. It is not the rule. I mean, that's like saying 1 out of 1,000 times I can hit a bullseye. That doesn't make me a bullseye master. It doesn't. And there's a lot of names in the true crime community who have been very irresponsible, not just with the Delphi murder case, but several murder cases, or disappearances, or even deaths that we don't know are accidents or foul play. But getting back to the Delphi murder case, there is one person, or at least one YouTube user, that I would like to call out, and that is you, True Crime Design. Don't think all your little shorts and all this, oh, the truth and all this other stuff, you don't get to walk that back. Have you forgotten all the episodes you made about Kelsey? Do you remember how you tried to compare her face to the composite sketches? How you tried to take things that she said and misconstrue them like she is guilty? Have you forgotten this? Because I sure as hell haven't. You see, I may not have bantered with you, but I kept my eye on you. And if you had any morals and any ethics and any standard, or no, actually, above all, if you ever had a guilty conscience, you should just go ahead right now and delete your YouTube account and stay the fuck away from true crime. That's what you should do. So, that goes for everyone else that used confirmation bias on your suspects. First, let me say this. Richard Allen was on no one's radar in the armchair or web sleuth community. There were a lot of names you guys had. Paul Etter, Daniel Nations, Charles Eldridge. You did everything to try to make that person fit Bridge Guy or those composite sketches and work backward with no objectivity at all. None. And as we see, this is connected to someone you guys never even knew of. Here's something that's really frightening. I was watching Gray Hughes Investigates yesterday, and he was showing things on a map, and the one thing that was truly disturbing to me was on the map how uncomfortably close Richard Allen lived next to Abby. Like, I couldn't believe it. I mean, that's really close. Now, did that mean that he knew her before that? I have no idea. No clue. But it just goes to show you that the things that we don't know are a lot closer than we realize. But my heart really does go out to the families of Abby and Libby. I mean, no innocent person deserves what happened to them. And I don't know every single detail of that, nor do I need to, other than the fact that they are no longer on this earth. I can only imagine, and that's all I can do is imagine, because I cannot arrogantly claim to know what they are going through. But knowing that there's a major development and an arrest, I can imagine they're going to be exhausted for a long time. You know, we use the word closure. I don't know if anyone can ever get closure off, from losing a family member, a daughter, a granddaughter, a sibling. Can't imagine that there would ever be closure, but I don't know. I think the only thing left is justice. And I am very confident that the families will see justice for Abby and Libby. Now, one final thing before I go, and that is the disturbing behavior of people bringing Richard Allen's wife and daughter into this. I mean, I can only imagine what they're going through. I mean, the confusion, the surrealness. I mean, I'm sure heartache and pain and possibly anger, because of everything that is going on. Believe me, they're probably more confused than we are. And to litter their pictures on social media just because you can lacks empathy and morality. Pray that never happens to you, no matter which side you fall under. The victims' families or the perpetrators' families. And I shouldn't say he's the perpetrator. We don't know. We just know he was arrested in connection. We just have to see. And there will be a press conference on Monday, and I don't know why we can't be patient and why people have to go out there and say his wife had to have known what he has done. I'm sorry, but the people who are writing that, you have no idea what's going on. And there's a lot of times, be it a killer or a serial killer, their spouse doesn't know. BTK killer, Dennis Rader, his wife didn't know. She wasn't charged with anything. She wasn't charged with accessory or knowing the fact that he did something and didn't come out and say anything. I mean, I don't know what it is where we think we just know it all. Especially the way that we base things on less than perfect information. Let's knock that shit off and let families from both sides deal with this privately. Until next time.